It's a process. It's a working process.
What's happening right now, everybody being awake and being like fed up, like bro, he had a lot to do with that. So like his contribution, his life, sacrifice, even though it was the wrong way and it was injustice. Look at what he gave to the world. Not only does everybody know his name, he is the reason, a big part of the reason, along with a lot of other people whose names are known for the wrong reason. I remember things like this happening and people just being like, damn, for real? Now it's like, nah, people ain't really standing for it. Like, so not only does everybody know his name, but like, he's the reason why people fighting, you know what I mean? And trying.
My mom's thing is the 72-hour rule. She said, you'll go to sleep tonight, you'll wake up and it'll still bother you, then you'll go to sleep again and you'll wake up and it'll bother you a little less. And then on the third day, you'll wake up and someone else will have done something stupid enough that everyone will forget.
It's totally true.
So I've learned to control my emotions for those first 2 or 3 days, and that's why I don't run to social media and start, you know, yapping about how my anger or my frustration, I let it sit. Yeah. And it always goes away, man.
We poison, bro. It's like a lot of poison. I'm not gonna sit up here and act like I'm like totally enlightened. Like, no, I see, but that doesn't mean I'm not affected by what I grew up seeing. We grew up watching ourselves be criminals on TV, be gangster rappers, video girls. We grew up with this. So it's like a level of like, I feel like self-reflection and honesty that we gotta have. And instead of like marching on Washington, which we've been doing for a long time, it's like we gotta really march on the hood and like march on ourselves.
It's a shame if you don't notice the shift in energy around you. I mean, you can't be oblivious to what's going on around you. And I just like kind of woke up one day like, yo, this is my time. This is my this is my thing. I run this, you know. Like nobody can really talk to me. I'm good at what I do, and made that switch. Like, yo, it's my time for the next however long till I decide it's not, you know. Till I decide to stop coming in here and working this hard. Because sometimes you have to realize like, yo, this is it. It's happening now. And this moment decides the longevity of this whole thing.
Stepping outside of my comfort zone and mastering it keeps the hunger for more going. Like I don't feel I can ever stop.
I ain't never do nothing like that. After all of that, how because even when I see you now, you glowing, beaming.
Well, I look at it like God has me here for a reason, because so many of us are hurting and we're confused. And we're angry, and we're just doing anything. We're just doing anything. We're just like, whatever. Because we're hurting and we don't know which way to turn. But God is the answer. Yeah, Jesus definitely is the answer. Yes.
My name is Jermaine. My rap name is J. Cole.
J. Cole.
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay.
It's a pleasure to meet you.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, you're welcome.
Okay, be safe on your way.
He has a shield of protection around him.
I believe it.
Okay, y'all be good.
You too. Good night.
Okay.
Thank you.
If they could have their way, I'd be on the street corner with me and all these guys in this room and my family, and we'd never to be heard from again, you know, if they had their way. But like I said, I'm ready for whatever.
And then I did a little research, and Michael Jackson holds the record with 12 nominations.
Yeah.
You almost had the same amount of nominations as Michael Jackson for Thriller.
The legend.
I
I
mean,
wouldn't want to go past that though.
No.
No.
But what if you had 13?
No, I take back. I can't fathom being as great as Michael without putting out the work.
I'm having just a little trouble with the TV. I was just wondering if you knew how to fix it.
Oh yeah, usually you just get the remote and you press on. Really, they don't have TVs in Canada?
No, we have TVs in Canada.
Oh, I know, I was just kidding, man.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I was just saying, like, I don't use the word cray very often, but I used it and it gets...
It's No Chopping 2016. If you remember the year, it was a good time.
I think that kid on that album that I heard sounds real uninspired.
Looking for a... Barack Obama was asked to pick between two rappers, Drake and Kendrick. Here's what he said.
We had Drake versus Meek Mill. We kind of know the outcome of that. But if Drake and Kendrick Lamar got in a rap battle, who do you think would win?
Got to go with Kendrick. I'm just saying. I think Drake is an outstanding entertainer, but Kendrick, his lyrics, his last album was outstanding.
Excellent. All right.
Best album I think last year.
Thanks so much for your time, Mr. President.
Drake replied to this interview with the first couple of bars on his song Summer 16 by saying this. Tell Obama that my verses are just like the whips that he in, they bulletproof. But it wasn't just Obama. Drake was shooting strays at everybody this year. But particularly on this song, it was a tone setter. This was the kind of energy that Drizzy was going to be on this year, especially after winning his Meek Mill battle the year prior. And now it felt like he was ready to go against whoever brought some bars his way. But first, he wasn't done with Meek. On the song, he reveals that the night back-to-back dropped, Drake pulled one of the most petty moves I've heard of within any rap battle when it has to do with antics. July 28th, 2015, Nicki Minaj is in Toronto for a show. And like we know, Meek was opening up. Back to Back dropped in the early hours of the morning after that show, but apparently Drake bought the hotel room right above Meek's, and when the song was released, they ran it back to back to back to back to back with full volume in the speakers, blasting it so that Meek could actually hear the song playing. And apparently it wasn't just a couple times. I'm just a sicko, a real sicko when you get to know me. I let the diss record drop. You was staying right below me. We must have played it 100 times. You was going to bed. Why would I put on a vest? I expect you to aim for the head. I could have killed you the first time. You don't have to try and say it louder. Trust, we heard you the first time. It's nothing personal. I would have done it to anyone. The you don't have to try and say it louder. We heard you the first time bar is in reference to how people said that Meek was yelling on the track, but the bars clearly weren't impactful enough to punch through what Drake did with Back to Back. Out in front of Four Seasons looking like a damn football team, all in the same thing, all repping one thing, looking for revenge. The Four Seasons is the hotel that they were both staying at that night. Meek actually confirmed this story in a song that dropped just hours before Summer 16. And this was actually the most calculated thing that Meek did during this battle to a lot of fans. Meek dropped a song called War Pain with O'Malley, and on it, he references things that were in Drake's Summer 16 song before it was even out, letting him know that he had heard the song early. Whether this meant that there was a leak in the camp or that Meek just had access to the song, it further enforced that maybe Drake couldn't trust the people around him. Or at least that Meek was plugged in somehow. He started off the song by saying, location, Toronto, status, 5-star hotel, 4 seasons. Them chumps right upstairs, they know not to come down here playing no real dudes. Haha, mood, I'm still up counting 500,000 cash. Nicki in the bedroom, sleep, life is good. This confirmed that the hotel incident did happen and also that Nicki was in the room with Meek. I'm thinking this probably didn't help Drake's friendship with Nicki, which appeared to be strained at this time, and this is probably partially some of the reason for that. Meek doubles down and says, with your little memes, I be with the real queen, screaming free the real Preem, we be doing real things. Preem is P. Rain, who is a rapper in Drake's crew, who also has a song with Meek called Realest in the City. And Meek makes it clear that he had the early drop on Drake's song because he references a line that Drake had on there before the song even dropped, saying, see an OVO chain, probably take that. Said dreaming wasn't enough, we had to chase that. You ain't write it, we caught ya, you can't erase that, and you claiming you hove, now why you state that? On Summer 16, Drake rapped, I used to want to be on Rockefeller, then I turned into Jay. Meek also said that he would be sitting courtside at the Sixers games. No reply, word to God, I'm on the floor still. Me and Nicki watching the Sixers, I'm closing more deals. And while this song dropped, there he was, spotted courtside with Nicki at the Sixers game. This was another back and forth jab between Drake and Hove that continued from the last couple of years. Drake is claiming that he's basically the biggest rapper in the game right now and that he has no more idols to really look up to. Jay would reply on DJ Khaled's record I Got the Keys with Future, where he said, always asking me the keys, till you own your own, you can't be free. Till you on your own, you can't be me. How we still slaves in 2016. Referencing how Jay offered him an ownership stake in Tidal allegedly, but he went on and took an Apple deal for $19 million and is currently in a label dispute with Cash Money, Birdman, and Lil Wayne at the time. Meanwhile, Jay is the owner in most of his businesses and in his music. Side note, it's crazy how DJ Khaled plays so much of a role in so many of these beefs and these shots being taken, especially with Future on that song. And Jay is super slick, so he probably did that on purpose. I'm going to throw Future some bail and say that he might have not known that Jay and Drake had that back and forth or that those were shots at Drake. But you guys let me know what you think in the comments. But back to Meek. He continued also referencing Hotline Bling. Man, I hate that. Dudes be talking out they face, but soon as you body something, they be singing like they Drake. Wait, they dancing like they fruitcakes. Hotline Bling don't get no bang up in this new Wraith. I guess Meek wasn't streaming Hotline Bling at the time, understandably. And then he references a lot here saying, robbed you in your city and you told Tory from the 6, you hating on him, Lord knows. Culture Vulture, now it's time to pay the tolls. Soft as the lacrosse team, boy that's word to Hove. Of course referencing Jay-Z calling him soft as the lacrosse team. When I met you, you was on my D. Asked me to hold the DC chain, now you want some O'Malley told me get it back cause he's like boys a B. And I'm like let him get it took cause we gon' charge him trips. Again, people were pretty impressed with this move, and I thought maybe even another round of this battle could potentially happen over the course of the year if Meek was willing to kind of stand on it and if Drake wanted to reply, although Drake didn't need to because there was really more to lose than there was to gain by continuing to go back and forth with Meek at this point. So it was really just subs from here. The lines about Tory Lanez were referencing what Drake said on Summer 16, where he took shots at Tory and said, all you boys in the new Toronto want to be me a little. All your exes know I like my O's with a V in the middle. You would love it if I went away and didn't say nothing else. How am I keeping it real? By keeping this shit to myself. You was never gang, gang, gang. You was never one of us. Had us fooled for a minute there. Now we done all grown up. But I'm better off anyway. Y'all never gonna finish Drake. Say you see about it. When you see me, man, y'all never home anyway. Before really going for Tory, Drake takes a quick shot at the Weeknd. After working on Take Care together, Abel denied Drake's OVO offer and went on to become a superstar of his own. But beyond any label deal, the two had a collective called OVO XO together, which was really something more in theory, but it did become a big thing within Toronto, and it was definitely branded on t-shirts, and they would say it in songs, and it seemed like they were even gearing up for a potential joint album after Take Care. Now, Drake had thrown shots potentially on 5 a.m. in Toronto, but they were spotted working together in 2013, and The Weeknd did OVO Fest that year, and Drake featured on The Weeknd's next album, Kiss Line, which I do love that feature. They did Would You Like a Tour together, and it seemed like it was all good just a week ago. On King of the Fall, The Weeknd said, and these motherfuckers that they package their new shit all be sounding like my passion, which could have appeared like a shot at Drake, but on the same song, he did say this, so it seemed like there was peace at least for a brief moment. He said, had a few more debts, I'ma pay it all in cash. XO, shout out to the boy, broke bread on tour, man, it's all love now. As if to state that there was actual issues with the boy, aka Drake, but now that they went on tour together, it's all good. But then on Tuesday, Drake rapped this, put the world on our sound, you know, Party and The Weeknd, referencing Party Next Door and The Weeknd, and how Drake was the one to put them on or put their sound into the mainstream to some degree. But I don't think The Weeknd took too kindly about anyone taking credit for his success, especially when he contributed so heavily to the success of Drake's album Take Care. Here's what he said in 2015. I gave up almost half my album. It's hard. I will always be thankful. If it wasn't for the light he shined on me, who knows where I'd be? And everything happens for a reason. You never know what I would say if this success wasn't in front of me now. It would appear that no OVO XO album would be coming, and ironically enough, Abel replied on a song with Kendrick Lamar off his Starboy album where he says, I ran out of tears when I was 18, so nobody made me but the main streets, cause too many people think they made me. Well, if they really made me, then replace me. This was a double shot, also referencing an old collaborator who started The Weeknd with him, and they made music early on, who was also claiming credit for The Weeknd's success. But to me, it's also a shot at Drake. Look, if you made The Weeknd, if you made me who I am, and you're responsible for all of my success, why have none of your other proteges, why have none of the other people on your label become stars in their own right? Where are they at? If you made me, then make another me. Also, remember last year when I said Adele beat Drake's Hotline Bling for the #1 spot and knocking him out of his first ever #1 last year? But before that, the Weeknd song The Hills was actually the first song to knock it off for the #1 spot. So again, there's a lot going on there between the Weeknd and Drake. And then on top of that, you have to put women involved because there is rumored involvement between Drake and the Weeknd's ex, Bella Hadid. The timeline on that is kind of shaky, but at the heart of many great beefs are women. But back to Tory Lanez. All you boys in the new Toronto want to be me a little. Say you see about it when you see me, man. Y'all never home anyway. Thought of things that you should have said things that you shouldn't say. We even gave y'all the whole money play and y'all broke to this day. Before we get into these bars specifically, we got to back up a little bit because Tory Lanez's career actually started out with him being a hungry young rapper in Canada, and he actually got some initial shine by videos going viral where he was claiming that he was Drake's little brother. Now, it's unclear that he started this or if he just went along with it when other people started it, or if it was just a marketing technique the whole time. But Tory did run with it for promo, and then he even made a video where he was challenging Drake saying, if you don't like my music, I will literally give you $10,000, but I guarantee that you'll like it.
I'm on tour right now, Assassination Vacation Tour with Drake.
So what, has Drake ever brought up your 10K bet?
Nah, we don't even talk about that.
Do you want to explain the 10K bet for us, just to anyone that doesn't?
Yo, so I was like 16 years old. I had $10,000. Don't ask me how I got the money. It's not important. I put a picture of all my favorite rappers. And, you know, Drake was the most popping at the time, of course, still even to this day. So on a list, I said, yo, listen, Drake, I got $10,000 here right now that says you can't come to wherever I'm at, listen to my music, and dislike my music. Like, there's no possible way that you could hear my music and dislike it. If you could dislike my music, I'll give you my last $10,000. It's all I had to my name.
Yeah, bro.
You know what I mean? And, you know, you look back at it later in life, it's like, what's the point of that? I could have just probably could have reached out to somebody from management or something like that.
So he was clearly vying for Drake's attention. And I don't know that it was publicly reciprocated because it didn't seem like he ever heard back from Drake, although assuming he also never gave 10K to Drake. But then in 2015, Tory threw shots at Drake where he said, I know these dudes about to act scary. T.O. dude only spitting without the Blackberry, of course, referencing Drake's early viral video at Funkmaster Flex where he was rapping bars off of a freestyle, but he was reading off of his Blackberry.
Young money to the young boy dying out. You hear me crying out, you see me riding out. And if your man get the stuntin', we'll buy him out. Cause we be living what these other rappers lying about. Alright, I gotta get on my gritty. You want me on my gritty? Alright, look, New York, check. I say it like this, I say, vacuum interiors and shine wheels. What's your life like? This how mine feels. I like my seat back. I like my wine chill. I look good, smell better, and I rhyme ill. That's how you feel tonight, Flex? Hold up. See, you called me off now. You called me all the way off now. You want me to do it again? You want me to give it? This is my first, like, real time on the radio. Like, this is my first real...
Your first real, like, blast off.
Like, with the big dog.
Launch.
Like with the...
Well, you know...
You know what I'm saying? Like...
And
it doesn't get much realer than this.
This is also when Tory became the first person to be the same height while standing up and sitting down during a freestyle, which was incredibly impressive.
And we pulling up in matching cars because we hate the walk. Some niggas talking, but we hate the let's get it. Let's go. I don't want to rap no more.
But Tory said that he wanted the #1 spot. He said, at the end of the day, there's never going to be a personal problem because I don't know that man. It's just one of those situations where the only thing that's ever going to lie between us is that we can't share first place. And I'm the only guy that's bold enough to come and really take that right now. I'm here to compete. I'm here to be #1. I'm here to be the greatest. Anybody standing in the way, whether or not it's him or anybody, it's got to go the way it's got to go. And I'm not going to stop until I get that. So Tory clearly taking the competitive stance and saying that he wants the #1 spot and he knows that Drake has it. Also worth noting that Tory's debut album had a lot of similarities to a lot of structural things when it came to Drake's album. Also, I would say he pulled heavily from Kendrick's Good Kid, Mad City, but there's a song on there particularly that sounds like Look at Me Now, from the storytelling to the piano. So clearly Drake is a big inspiration to Tory. Then on October 12th, 2015, he said, this whole calling Toronto the 6th thing, it's not cool, bro. But there were receipts to prove that prior to Drake using it as much in the mainstream and in his songs, Tory had no problem with calling Toronto the 6th. But also another thing to note and is referenced in these bars is that Tory's actually not from the 6th. He's not from Toronto. He's from Brampton, Ontario, a city outside of Toronto. While Tory did seem to back out a little bit, he did say, Drake could diss me 20,000 times and I'd never diss him. I'm a fan. I have no negativity on my side. All blessings to that man. He did what Drake did to Jay-Z and seemed to switch things up on his Uber Everywhere freestyle. And even though he was looking up to the man and he idolized him and he called him all kinds of great and successful, and I love that guy, maybe I got to shoot at the guy I looked up to at some point if I want that spot. And he said, yeah, pussy boy, I'll slap that smile clean off your face. You don't know no trap dudes. You don't be round this way. You some actor boy. I used to see you on the screen, referencing Drake's days on Degrassi. Drake released a song called Controlla in promotion of his upcoming album Views, and Tory released a remix to Controlla that actually ended up doing similar things to what The Weeknd's Trust Issues did, where it became the more popular version of the song. It was played at a lot of clubs, venues, and streamed a lot on SoundCloud. Drake even called this out on tour while switching the lyrics to Summer 16, saying, "All you boys with the fake Controllas want to be me a little," which didn't help the narrative that Tory was taking one of Drake's popular songs and covering it as in he wants to be him, especially when it's clear how much he loved Drake at the beginning of his career and wanted his approval. Now, there were some other comments back and forth, but we'll get to the real Drake shots next year on Do Not Disturb, which to me were some of my favorite bars on that project and might be my favorite Drake sub ever. I don't know. We'll get to that back next year. But finally back to Summer 16, and not for the last time. He also claimed that he has a bigger pool than Kanye. Now, I got a house in LA, now I got a bigger pool than Ye. And look, man, Ye's pool is nice. Mine's just bigger is what I'm saying. I'm that dude is what I'm saying. Getting things done around here. How you let me run it down here? I'm not even from around here. This is a light competitive jab at Kanye, of course, about the pool and the materialism, but also saying he's the biggest artist out right now, which I know Kanye didn't take lightly, but also Kanye didn't have a problem saying in 2015 that Drake was the biggest artist or biggest rapper out right now as well.
I look at Drake as like an amazing sparring partner. Come on, man, get back up. Bow, get back up. What's up? What's up, bro? What you doing? Because, you know, you sit there, I was sitting there getting fat, you know, sitting back, just knocked everybody out. And then this guy hits the gym, he's just like running around like, bah, 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 14 hits. Same as Paul McCartney. Like, well, okay, let me go to the studio then. Let's see what's...
And DJ Khaled even reinstates this fact at the end of the song.
They don't want us to have a bigger pool than Kanye.
Khaled plays a pretty big role in some of the back and forth this year and next year, but we will get back to him in a couple minutes. My name is Jeremy Hecht. Welcome to Passing of the Crown. This is a 16-part YouTube series where we take a look at the big three, Kendrick, J. Cole, and Drake, and their come up, their journey, their relationships over the course of time, and how we ended up getting to where we're at today. If you followed along so far and you've been watching the episodes, thank you so much for the support. It is because of you guys that I continue to make these videos and put so much time and energy into them. If you've missed a few, you can watch this playlist right here. We have 2009 all the way to 2016 now, and it's just getting interesting. If you're here, hit the subscribe button and turn your notifications on so you don't miss next year. Hit the like button, leave me a comment, share this with a fan of these artists. This is going to be the best year yet, but let's get back to the story. It's February 2016. Mayor Brown is presenting Kendrick Lamar with the key to the city of Compton. Kendrick had donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to the Compton Unified School District for music and sports programs, and during the ceremony, Mayor Brown described Kendrick as a catalyst to raise a new level of consciousness for his generation.
As long as I'm doing music, as long as I'm using my platform for something, I'm always, since day one, scream Compton and make sure I come back to this community and do right by it, because y'all always done right by me.
Kendrick called out a lot of problems with the system while documenting his experience of what it meant to be a Black American on To Pimp a Butterfly, and in October of 2015, he also engaged at the highest level of politics and government, and while Drake might have been taking subs at the president, Kendrick was actually meeting with Obama. This year, it was revealed that he was invited to the White House the previous year to discuss the Pay It Forward mentorship program and the president's My Brother's Keeper program, which focused on closing opportunity gaps for young men of color, solidifying that his voice and movement had real power. Obama's senior advisor Valerie Jarrett mentioned that Kendrick was a little nervous, and to put him at ease, President Obama reportedly asked him, "Can you believe that we're both sitting in the Oval Office?" Which is crazy when you zoom out and think about it. Obama was clearly a fan of Kendrick's too, though, because he even had How Much a Dollar Cost on his year-end list of favorite songs. Kendrick had this to say about the experience. "The way people look at me these days, that's the same way I looked at President Obama before I met him. We tend to forget that people who've attained a certain position are human. When the president said to my face what his favorite record was, I understood that no matter how high ranking you get in this world, you're human." He said that the two tackled topics concerning the inner cities, the problem, the solutions, and furthermore embracing the youth, both being aware that mentoring saves lives. He said no matter how high the pedestal you reach, we all still like a beat. Even the president has got to hear that snare drum. J. Cole also spent some time with Obama later that year and referenced it multiple times in bars. On Neighbors, he raps, "I don't want no picture with the president, I just want to talk to the man." And he manifested those bars because clearly him and Obama still do have conversation.
Not to be biased, but the greatest rapper of all time is from my city.
Yes.
I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina.
Go ahead, man.
J. Cole.
I just talked to Jay last week.
The greatest of all time.
Jay is very high on the list.
Up two, not number two.
I will say that, you know, There's a guy named Jay-Z, closer to my generation.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Come on, man.
He's a cool guy.
All right. This is a lot like the MJ versus the LeBron conversation.
Right. Jermaine Cole.
He is from your hometown. I respect you rolling with him.
It's not a bias. It's not a bias.
No. Listen, Jay, I've had Jay the White House. He's outstanding. J. Cole's outstanding.
That's right. That's right.
Shout out to Vic Blends for that interview and standing for his Fayetteville boy. I did see him backstage at Dreamville Fest, so clearly he is a massive J. Cole fan. But also, Cole dropped a song the following year that went a bit deeper into his relationship with Obama and his motives for wanting a conversation in 2016. And what he actually spoke to Obama about. He said, "I had a convo with the president. I paid to go and see him, thinking about things I said I'd say when I would see him, feeling nervous sitting in a room full of white folks, thinking about the black man plight, think I might choke. Nope. Raised my hand and asked a man a question. Does he see the struggle of his brothers in oppression? And if so, if you got power and the clout as the president, what's keeping you from helping dudes out?" Well, I didn't say, but you can catch my drift. He looked me in the eyes and spoke, and he was rather swift. He broke the issues down and showed me he was well aware. I got the vibe he was sincere and that the brother cared. But dog, you in the chair, what's the holdup? He said, there's things that I want to fix, but you know the shit, politics. Don't stop fighting and don't stop believing. You can make the world better for the kids before you leave it. Change is slow, always has been, always will be. F that, I'm a bust back till they kill me. Feel me? Cole did end up performing that year at a Get Out and Vote campaign hosted by Beyonce and Jay-Z for Hillary Clinton, but clearly he was feeling let down and had little belief in the system, because similar to what he expressed on his live performance of Be Free, it seemed like even with someone like Obama, who he believed in inside the Oval Office, he didn't see that much change that could be brought from that position. Because later in 2018, when he was asked about it, Cole said that he actually didn't vote at all in 2016, saying, Hillary Clinton wasn't somebody that was motivating me to go vote. Cole said when asked why. If it was Bernie Sanders, I would have showed up and voted. I would have been the first one in line. No BS. No disrespect to Hillary. And even Drake was the most political he had been up until this year. After the police murder of Alton Sterling, Drake penned an open letter and said this on his Instagram. I am grateful to be able to call America my second home. Last night when I saw the video of Alton Sterling being killed, it left me feeling disheartened, emotional, and truly scared. I woke up this morning with a strong need to say something. It's impossible to ignore that the relationship between black and brown communities and law enforcement remains as strained as it was decades ago. No one begins their life as a hashtag, yet the trend of being reduced to one continues. This is real and I'm concerned. Concerned for the safety of my family, my friends, and any human being that could fall victim to this pattern. I do not know the answer, but I believe things can change for the better. Open and honest dialogue is the first step. My thoughts and prayers are with the Sterling family and any family that has lost someone to this cycle of violence. Be safe out there, more life. On February 15th, 2016, Kendrick walked away with 5 Grammys, but he also had another career-defining live performance where he did a rendition of Blacker the Berry into All Right, and even did some unreleased bars. He came out in handcuffs, rapping "Lock our bodies but can't trap our minds." In fact, the performance was so controversial that it's very difficult to find anywhere on the internet. It's pretty much been scrubbed clean, and the ones that are there are distorted or there's pictures on top of it. There is a couple places that you can find it if you search hard enough online, so I'll let you guys find it, but it's a very powerful performance. I don't want this whole video to get copywritten, but definitely go take a look if you're able to. He ended the performance with a brand new verse, which was met with an amazing reaction from the crowd with these bars. High power 2 times you see it, high power 2 times you see it. Conversation for the entire nation, this is bigger than us. But this wasn't the only revolutionary performance that he had this year. In fact, he continued to do live TV performances that were of songs that existed nowhere at the time. They weren't part of his albums, and in fact, they didn't even have titles. They were just listed as Untitled, which is very rare for somebody who has a big album to do, especially when they're trying to promote it and continue the sales and to promote their tours, similar to what J. Cole did with Be Free. But Kendrick clearly had a lot on his heart. On Jimmy Fallon, he performed something called Untitled 8. Then he performed another Untitled song at a festival later that year. But speaking of Untitled and unreleased songs, on February 23rd, 2016, none other than LeBron James tweeted out at 3:09 p.m., "Yo, at Top Dog, after that Kendrick Lamar Grammy performance, you have to release those Untitled tracks ASAP. What's up? Talk to me." And whether or not King James was responsible for us getting this album, that's still to be debated. But only weeks later, on March 4th, Kendrick dropped a project with a unique shade of green as the album cover called Untitled Unmastered. All the song titles looked like demos with little information about what the actual song was about, who was on it, what it was. And Kendrick didn't even speak about it at the time, but TDE's Punch did say this. He said, "To me, it just means freedom. Kendrick's first album, Good Kid, Mad City, doesn't sound anything like the second album, To Pimp a Butterfly, so it opened him up to where he can do anything he wants. There are no bounds to what he can do creatively. Most artists have a certain lane that they have to stay in, but for him to put out songs from To Pimp a Butterfly sessions along with stuff that he performed on the late night shows, it just shows you that he can do whatever he wants. As far as Untitled, me and Kendrick always talked about doing a sort of black album like how Prince did back in the day. There was no album cover, no song titles, no anything, just tracks he threw out. But deeper than just the songs being unmastered in the sense of not being finished for an album by an engineer, there's also a double meaning to unmastered, which Punch continued by saying, everything that we do is deliberate. So if you hear something that says unmastered, we absolutely did that on purpose. There's more than one meaning behind that. We're definitely trying to break chains musically and socially. The whole thing to me just represents breaking the chains, whatever those chains might be. Whatever chain society puts on you, we're trying to break those and be free. And Kendrick's relationship with God played a huge role on this album as well. Even Punch said he has a spiritual side. He has a belief in God that's strong, a faith that's strong. Of course, that's going to come out in what he does because all his music is from him. So every part of him is coming out. It's all a part of growing up, being a man, and putting your real self out there. And clearly Kendrick was struggling with his faith and with what he was seeing going on in the world, because on Beyonce's Freedom, he featured and said, "What do you want from me? Is it truth you seek? Oh, Father, can you hear me? What do you want from me? Is it truth you seek? Oh, Father, can you hear me? Hear me out." And on Untitled 1, he speaks to God directly when he says, "I made To Pimp a Butterfly for you, told me to use my vocals to save mankind for you." So clearly he's feeling the weight of his words, what they can do for people, and he's trying to connect through his spirituality, through his relationship with God, and trying to use his power to give the world as much as he possibly can. He even released a video called God is Gangsta onto TDE's YouTube, where he starts off emotionally performing the song You, For Sale, Lucy, and gives a through line from To Pimp a Butterfly. But in the middle, there is this text that flashes on screen for a brief second, almost too quick to read unless you pause it multiple times, which I did, but luckily I did find somebody who listed all of the screenshots on the Kendrick Reddit, and here's what it says. "You played the game, I pimped it. You'll buy them all if lust involved, the evils of it all. My taste buds is expensive. Night like this, I wish that bomb head would fall. I followed your rules for way too long. Water dog. Dussy salary cap. I made money, I lost money, I did it again. Tracy Ellis Ross is vibrant." Very true statement. "Never trust a dude with too many haircuts. Time is change, your friend or foe. If I blame you for a loss, I'll be giving you all the credit. Instagram 2016 equals Dussy Unlimited. Good Dussy can make you melt. Always trust a dude with cornrows. Life is like a box of chicken." Now, this is really interesting. I'm not going to overanalyze. You guys can let me know what you think that was about in the comments. Shout out to Tracy Ellis Ross, one of the greatest of all time. Beautiful woman. And shout out to the box of chicken at the end, because that to me could be a foreshadow for what is the crux of Damn. And maybe Kendrick was flirting with the ideas of what Damn was going to be and how every moment matters and every interaction matters and could lead to the ultimate purpose of your life if you look at the song Duckworth. Also, my taste buds was in Humble, where he says, "Ooh, that pussy good, won't you put it on my taste buds?" So maybe he was writing some of Damn around this time. Some people think that there's some subliminal shots towards Drake in these, but let me know what you guys think. But maybe the craziest random fact from the Untitled album was when Swizz Beatz and Alicia Keys revealed that their 5-year-old son, Egypt, had a production credit on Untitled 7, which is one of the best produced songs on the album, and I hope he's still producing albums right now. On Untitled 2, I personally think Kendrick left Earth on that last verse. I thought it was one of his best flows, and re-listening to it, it still got me hyped listening to that song. And that's the song where we got Get Top on the Phone, which has been referenced a million times since then. On that verse, Obama has a through line throughout this whole video. He says, "Might tell Obama be more like Punch," which was also a flex considering him actually having convos with Obama and probably Obama listening to that. And he raps, "I can put a rapper on life support, guarantee that's something none of you want," which could be another sub towards Drake in this subliminal Cold War that they have going on at this time. But on this album, Kendrick really was free. I also really love Untitled 3. I love the storytelling. You can tell also that he was dealing with processing the trauma from some of the losses in his life and the people that were killed around him, because you feel the frustration, the anger, and not knowing how to take it out and what to do with that feeling on some of those songs, especially the song where he's talking about about, you know, scoping someone out and thinking about sneaking into their room and, you know, doing something drastic, but then realizing he had to take a breath and talk to God. And it's a lot of internal struggle on this project that Kendrick was clearly dealing with. But overall, none of these songs I liked better than any of the songs on To Pimp a Butterfly. So I'm glad that this got to live as its own project and be what it was. Let me know your favorite off that project. But beyond just the creative success, the album still debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200 charts and sold 178,000 copies first week, which for a group of leftover songs is very impressive, if not insane. Kendrick also hopped on Travis Scott's Goosebumps, which was a huge song, eventually becoming Diamond. And he also hopped on Maroon 5's Don't Wanna Know, which would later be referenced on Drake's Push-Ups. But speaking of Drake, let's head back to Toronto, where Drake is gearing up to release his next album, Views, and it's his most highly anticipated album yet. Drake is at the height of his fame and success after Hotline Bling blew up. And on April 5th, he releases the biggest hit of his career. One Dance featuring Wizkid and Kyla, which had a globally inspired sound, became his first solo song to hit #1. The third single was called Pop Style, which ironically was the first rap single of the album, but there was some controversy when it came to this song involving The Throne. Initially, the song came out and said featuring The Throne, which had Jay-Z and Kanye on it, but while Kanye had a full verse, and I actually really like Kanye's verse on that, Jay only had a couple bars, literally 2. He said, "They still out to get me, they don't get it, I cannot be got, and that's a given," which were probably bars directed towards Drake, who again was in this subliminal war with Jay-Z at the time. And if you remember, the back and forth is still going on. But after some business discussions, Drake ended up replacing Kanye's verse and removing Jay just to do his own second verse on the album version. And Drake even raps Jay's lines on the new verse. He also raps after that saying MVP, MVP, 09 all the way to 16, even next season looking like a breeze. A lot of y'all ain't built for the league. He also might have taken a subtle jab at Jay on the song 9, where he said, MJ in every way, I just don't fade away. If you remember in previous videos, we agreed that Jay was always compared to Michael Jordan, while Kendrick and Drake kind of fought for this Kobe comparison, and then Drake and J. Cole kind of also referencing themselves as LeBron. But that fade away line also could reveal that maybe Drake plans to stay relevant for longer than Jay. Also on Pop Style, a lot of people didn't like the line, "Got so many chains, they call me Chaining Tatum." I didn't hate it, if I'm being honest. I didn't love the line. I didn't think it was the greatest line ever. I just didn't think it was as bad as maybe people thought, but you let me know. Some people think that the intro, Keep the Family Close, is talking about his strained relationship with Nicki Minaj, saying, and it's all because you chose a side. You're supposed to put your pride aside and ride for me. Guess it wasn't time. And of course, you went and chose a side that wasn't mine. Of course, during the battle with Meek Mill, she clearly had to take one side in that, but maybe Drake expected them to remain friends throughout that. The 20-song album included Hotline Bling and featured the most pop and vocal heavy that we had seen Drake yet, with songs like With You, Faithful, Too Good, and Controller, Fire and Desire, and Feel No Ways, which I think are some of the best R&B moments that we ever got from him. And he throws some shots on the album in reference to Meek and a few others. On Heights specifically, he says, "My enemies want to be friends with my other enemies. I don't let it get to me." Now stay with me here, because there are a lot of enemies and a lot of layers to this. Chris Brown defended Meek Mill. Of course, him and Chris were beefing over Rihanna. Chris Brown and Tyga are good friends who he is beefing with over some unknown reason, but they just don't like each other. Tory Lanez and Meek Mill are working closely together and eventually dropped multiple songs together. Meek Mill gave a shout out to Jay-Z, who is in a war of subliminal words with Drake at the moment. So there's a lot of layers to that bar. I don't run out of material. You shouldn't speak on me, period. You tried to give them your side of the story. They heard it, but they wasn't hearing it. Again, another reference to nobody really caring when Meek Mill replied to Drake after Back to Back. Now, remember in 2015, Kendrick called himself the Lil Homie in his announcement of To Pimp a Butterfly to the world, and he threw some shots at Drake while doing that. Well, Drake rapped this: "I pull up in Lexus like it's 07. I just hit a lick. I gotta hit the next one. Last year, I know you learned your lesson. I could GPS you if you need addressing. Boss up, I'm the bigger homie, but I'm 1 year older than my lil homie." Now, the first bars are about Meek, but I think that whole stanza, he's actually addressing Kendrick, because he could be telling Dot, you saw what I did in that Meek battle and you don't want any problems with this, but you could be next if you want. Kendrick is about 1 year younger than Drake. Now, Meek is also a year younger than Drake, but I have a feeling that the term Lil Homie was put in there explicitly so that Kendrick knew he was speaking to him. So this could have been a double shot at Meek and Kendrick, but you guys let me know what you think. This also becomes, to me, the start of his Michael Jackson comparison era. I think that after the ghostwriting rumors, he felt like he couldn't necessarily become Jay-Z in a lot of people's eyes because there's always that hole in his armor as an MC, but he could be the biggest artist in the world, and you start to hear him reference Michael Jackson a lot more in his music. Light as Michael Jackson, but on verses he be blacking. Now these bars could also be towards Kendrick or Meek, but I have a feeling that Kendrick makes more sense here. I hate a rapper especially. They feel the same, but they hide it. They just discuss it in private. Don't get along, man. We tried it. What's the point in even trying? Again, Kendrick has never shied away from referring to himself as a rapper, while Drake tends to distance himself from just that label, saying he wants to be the biggest artist or do more than just rap. And he seems to hint that the two did try to be friends, but now that that friendship is done, they can both just acknowledge that they don't like each other. It feels like maybe a reconciliation did try to happen. There's that old footage of Drake asking The Room in the studio what they thought of a song and basically saying he thought Kendrick would be a good feature on it, or that he had sent it to Kendrick and he's waiting for the vocals back. But that seemed like it was kind of after the point of Control where there might have been some tension. Maybe there was a reconciliation tried and it didn't happen on one side or the other, or both.
Crazy. I can't, and it's like
just enough every time.
For him, where he's at, that's like I know he's gonna murder that shit.
Oh, but when he told me Kendrick, it just made so much sense. Oh, what was this brilliance? Oh, so good.
He also says after this no one a threat to me, meaning he is feeling very confident that he is at the top of the game and no one is going to get in the way of his spot at this time. I didn't mention in the last video, but Kendrick also did reply to Drake's shots that he threw on the Games 100 while they shot the videos in Compton, ironically on the album Compton by Dr. Dre. Kendrick had multiple features where he did throw some shots. On the song Dark Side / Gone, he said, "I'm effing with shit that you only can get on an overseas flight now. You scared of my heights now, but still, I got enemies giving me energy. I want to fight now." You scared of my heights now is him saying, listen, you could try to little bro me, but you see what I'm doing with my music. You see the heights that I'm reaching as a rapper, as an artist, as an MC, and you see where I'm taking this. So we're on the same level now, buddy. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to fight. The enemies bar, of course, the energy bar. Energy was a song on Drake's 2015 album. If you're reading this, it's too late. Subliminal, sending me all of this hate. I thought I was holding the mic down. I thought I was holding my city up. I thought I was good in the media. Again, he's acknowledging that there's this subliminal war of words going back and forth. And he's saying, if you want it, all you got to do is really call me out. We will do it. He's baiting Drake here. And on Deep Water off that same project, he says this, "Mother effer, I know I started from the bottom, vodka baby bottle, mixing that with Similac, my mama knew I had a problem." These are similar to the bars that he rapped at the end of his live performance of All Right in the previous year. Again, started from the bottom is a pretty obvious reference to me. Wasn't thinking about no rapping, I was jugging for $1. Putting quarter pieces in the black Caprice and make it holla. No police in me, I got the beast in me, I gotta keep the decency and make them TNT my product. I'm a COMPTO innovator, energizer, inner city, bullet flying till that bitch on autopilot. I don't give a F about your whereabouts. All I care about is wearing out your area and airing out your upper body when I catch you walking out your parents' house. I think all of those bars were directed towards Drake to some degree. Now, these could be kind of an early call to what he calls back in Euphoria, where he says the very first time that I shot me at Drake, my homie had told me to aim it this way, and basically talking about like not knowing how to shoot. I have a feeling maybe some of these bars are kind of the same type of metaphor where he's saying like maybe he's taking some slight shots at Drake, but he didn't properly shoot him, and if they really want to go there, he can. Where he says, "Once upon a time, I shot a dude on accident. I tried to kill him, but I guess I needed more practice in. That's when I realized banging wasn't for everybody. Switch it up before my enemy or the sheriff got me." Again, these could be real life bars, but they also could have double meaning towards this subliminal beef. They liable to bury him. They nominated 6 to carry him. Again, 6, the number that Drake represents, but also the number of people that hold a casket at a funeral. They worry him to death, but he no vegetarian. The beef is on his breath. He just got into a beef with Meek Mill. He's ready for it. He's not necessarily innocent in this. He's been taking shots at me too. Inheriting the drama better than a great white. This is life in my aquarium. Kendrick does like his animal references. Okay, with all that 9, you're gonna see Pet Sematary. Inheriting the drama could be DJ Drama, inheriting the beef from him, who Drake was shooting at after the alleged reference tracks allegedly leaked from him in the Meek battle. But again, some of those could be stretches, some of them could be reaches, some of them to me are pretty clear. You guys let me know which you thought were shots and which weren't. Drake also hopped on DJ Khaled's For Free, where he takes some slight jabs at Kendrick. He interpolates Too Short on the song, but also Kendrick's To Pimp a Butterfly interlude about the D not being free, which was also a metaphor about the bigger picture, racism, and systemic problems within America. But Drake references Kendrick, not by name, but says, and like your boy from Compton said, you know this ain't free. Now, I don't know that he's necessarily fully taking a shot, but to me it's like your boy, like not like my boy, not like our guy, not like the man, and like your boy from Compton says, kind of Lil Broing him once again. Speaking of drama, he also sneak disses DJ Drama again on the song, saying, last year I had drama, girl, not right now. Now, depending on where you put the comma, if you say last year I had drama, girl, not right now, it's one thing, but last year I had drama, girl, not right now, he could be referencing Summer P, again, who he might have had an alleged relationship with and may have caused some tension between him and DJ Drama. But Drake's beefs were not done for this year. We'll get back to that in a couple minutes. But let's cut to July 29th, 2016. DJ Khaled's album drops, and J. Cole at this point drops a rare feature. On the song Jermaine's Interlude, J. Cole actually hints at retirement. How the F do I look when I brag to you about some diamond? Said all that I could say, now I play with thoughts of retirement. This is a theme that J. Cole would struggle with over the next few years, but this was the first time we really heard about it on a song. Clearly, J. Cole had been really hurt by what was going on in America, and that was actually taking up a lot of his time and energy, and it feels like you can still hear it through the music at this point. Paid for your house in hopes there'd be no more reason for crying. That shows you how stupid I am, cause dudes is out here dying from police that flash the siren and pull up and just start firing. Dudes murking each other in murky water. I try and swim. Whereas he bought back his old family house and thought that would solve his problems, but realized that solving his own family's problems wasn't enough for him. This is a side note, but does anyone remember DJ Khaled getting lost at sea on Snapchat? Because that was one of the greatest videos of all time.
Alright, it's dark. In a minute, there ain't gonna be no lights to navigate us to where we need to go. I'm gonna check in with y'all. The key is to make it. It's so dark out here. We don't know where the hell we at, but the key is to make it. It's so real out here right now. The key is not to drive your jet ski in the dark. God is good. We made it. They never said it was easy to win. Feels good to be back.
In my top 10 films ever. Now, Kendrick also appeared on Khaled's album alongside Big Sean for the first time since Control. The song was called Holy Key, and it had verses from both of them that were really good, but there was no real friendly fire, and honestly, I didn't find too many subs even at anyone else. Things would heat up between Sean and Dot, but I'm actually going to save that for 2017 because that's when it really started to potentially go there. But back to J. Cole. Last year, J. Cole ended the year off by dropping his Revenge of the Dreamers compilation, and it seemed like growing a label was one of his biggest priorities. He was hopping on features for Boz, for Cause, and growing his label one step at a time. Although he did drop some bars of his own on there, specifically on the song Folgers Crystals, where I think is one of his most underrated songs. On December 5th, J. Cole returned to the public eye with 2 new songs, one called Everybody Dies and one called False Prophets. He started off Everybody Dies with a We Back, and it honestly sounded a little bit like Chance the Rapper, who he had bigged up the last couple years, so maybe it was a reference to Chance at the time. But honestly, these bars were some of the hungriest we'd heard Cole rap in a very long time. And it seems like he was very confident with his place in the game. He was taking a lot of low-key shots, and honestly, some of them could have been competitive swings at Drake. At this point, we don't know what their relationship is like, and like I said last year on Black Friday, he might have even taken some swings there. He also could be replying to some of those comments and saying, no, if you think I'm rapping at you, you don't have to guess because I will be taking direct shots at you when I rap at you, not all these subs. So it's hard to determine which of those two sides of the coin these bars are, but you guys can let me know. But Uzi and Yachty and the new SoundCloud era that was popping off at this time definitely took some slight bars from him. And at this time, you got to remember there was a huge divide, not only within rappers, but within the rap community, the fan community, between the SoundCloud era and the previous generation. Because Cole, the definition of a weapon that can end it, you know, mass destruction when I mash the button. I take your favorite major rapper, left him independent, crying in the corner, because I ain't into sorta kinda dissing. I'm borderline addicted to slaughter. Line up dudes in order of who you think can really F with me most. Then I tuck the heat close. If he don't duck, then he ghost. Ain't no need for discussion. If they were talking about the bread, these mother be toast. Clap at the fake deep rappers, the OG gatekeep rappers, the would you take a break please rappers, bunch of words and ain't saying shit. I hate these rappers, especially the amateur 8-week rappers, lil whatever, just another short bus rapper, fake drug dealers turned tour bus rappers, Napoleon complex, you this tall rappers, get exposed standing next to 6'4" rappers. Cole really is that tall. Let me know who else you think he was shooting at in those bars. Again, some of them could apply to Kendrick even with the short rappers or the fake deep rappers, but I don't think anyone would consider Kendrick fake deep, and I don't personally think Cole would be shooting at Kendrick. But again, we never got this Black Friday project, so we also don't really know what his relationship with Kendrick is at this time. But I think most of these are just general subs of the field. You guys can let me know in the comments what you think. But on the same day alongside that song, he also dropped another song called False Prophets, where he appeared to be taking shots at Kanye. Yeah, life is a balance. You lose your grip, you can slip into the abyss, no doubt. You've seen these dudes tripping, ego in charge of every move, he's a star. And we can't look away due to the days that he caught our hearts. He's fallen apart, but we deny it. Justifying that half-ass shit he dropped, we always buy it. When he tell us he's a genius, but it's clear lately, it's been hard for him to look into the mirror lately. There was a time when this dude was my hero, maybe. That's the reason why his fall from grace is hard to take. Cause I believed him when he said his shit was pure, and he the type of dude, swear he real, but all around him's fake. The women, the D-riders, you know, the yes man, nobody with the to say something to contest him, so he grows out of control into the person that he truly was all along. It's starting to show, damn, wonder what happened. Maybe it's all my fault for idolizing, based off the words they be rapping, but come to find out these dudes don't even write their shit. Here's some new style bubbling up and they bite this shit. Damn, that's what I get for lying to myself. Well, F it. What's more important is he's crying out for help while the world's egging him on. I'm begging him to stop playing his old shit, knowing he won't top it. False prophets. Kanye and Cole apparently got on the phone at some point, and allegedly Kanye asked J. Cole to be very critical with him and be honest with him, and Cole didn't share much about this conversation, but it doesn't seem like they maintained any sort of relationship after this, and Kanye did call out J. Cole for continuously taking shots at him on record, so I don't think that they talked today.
I don't like talking about other people. If it was just me and you, no microphone, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. So I tread lightly if possible, but the only reason I would even feel comfortable taking it any distance, cause like, yo, I didn't even ask. You know, like you put that out there, he said, yo, right off the rip, he was like, man, I need you to hold me accountable, keep me in check, like, say whatever you gotta say, right. I need that, I feed off that, So like, are you sure? I'm first of all just a fan. That's really all I am. I don't know you. A dude that was a fan back in the days.
But a lot of people look back at False Prophets and say that it aged very well. What did you think about it in the moment? What do you think about it now? Do you think Cole was directly shooting at Kanye, or was this more of a general thing that happened to apply to him also? What's also interesting is that Cole calls out Kanye's lack of writing, but it's interesting that this was right around the whole situation with Drake not writing his stuff, and so I don't know if he made those bars vague on purpose to fit whoever it applied to, but here's what he said about the song.
And when I'm writing False Prophets, which that song wasn't about him, there's one verse that applies to him for sure, but if you listen to that song is about what this shit is exposing. And what I got to check myself about. And I check myself on that song as well.
I love it's a brilliant song.
Where it's like, yo, celebrity worship. We're worshiping celebrities.
Cole also appears to be talking about Wale on the second verse of that song, where he talks about a rapper friend who he has that isn't happy with their spot and doesn't necessarily appreciate what they have and should be more grateful because there's so many people out there who would want his spot. And Wale actually dropped a response to this song called Groundhog Day that was in reply to some of J. Cole's bars, but also replying to the public perception of him at the time. He called himself the most underrated of his generation, which I do think is true, him and Big Sean, but he also says, says, behind them crooked smile dudes neglect to embrace me. Of course, J. Cole with the song Crooked Smile. Respect is in order now. My liquor is more to y'all. You throw in little shots, we catch in some cases. A lot of dudes hate to love me or they love to hate me. Labeled as reckless and crazy by my record label. Doctors say it's bipolar disorder. He diagnosing me wrong. It's obviously depressing, counting blue faces. Hey, here go that real shit. Battling anxiety and privately then Percocets, which felt like Wale was opening up about a lot of his mental health and depression and drug use issues here that he hadn't necessarily shared that honestly in his music before. Purchased like 30 of them, murdered them in 30 hours. Weight of the world on my shoulders. Bet I military press. I remember me and Cole would open for Hove. Every day a star is born. I guess I died in the womb. I ain't make it on Blueprint, so made me a blueprint. You got a nice watch. My minutes was finished. I was lost at Interscope. These bars actually are true. Cole and Wale did open for Jay-Z on the Blueprint 3 tour. J. Cole was out there performing A Star Is Born every single night, which was like his induction into the game, passing the torch from Jay. And Wale was watching from the sidelines every night. And when I did interview him, I asked him about this tour specifically in memories, and he said one thing that stood out was that Jay was actually upset with him the whole tour. So not only did he have to watch Cole do that on stage every night, but also he had his idol upset at him for whatever reason. He didn't explain what it was, but he did say it was like something he had said earlier on in the tour. And I can't remember if it was him being upset at Jay or Jay was upset at him, but I'll insert the clip here. You and Cole were on the Jay-Z, I think it was the Blueprint 3 tour with Pharrell.
Yeah.
Well, do you have a memory that stands out from that tour? Because that just seems so nuts.
I'm just saying, like, one day me and Cole going like
full
do
documentary.
a documentary.
Yeah.
Like if anybody do my documentary, Cole has to be like one of the executive producers because his memory's way better than mine. But boy, I got some stories, bruh. You know Cole, he gonna hate me for this. But you know he's so nobody's ever seen Cole lose his temper ever, right?
No.
Like he's so calm. Oh boy, the last day of tour, bro. Oh my gosh, like there was so much tension on that tour because like I said something real stupid. Jay was really mad at me for a lot of that. Most of that tour, I said something stupid.
Like you said it early on.
The first day of the tour, everybody was mad at me, and it was just one of them like, damn. I was like, when it damn well, like the moments that I be having, like, see what I'm saying?
Why did I say? But you can't take it back.
But he knows I'm like that because it's like my third tour with him.
Yeah,
but he knows I was lunching. But like it was a long tour, so like every show, like like I'm going to the bus because it would be Cole and me and Pharrell and. So I'm getting off the stage knowing my idol is like really like not feeling me.
Just playing Big Brother on loop,
bro. And then mind you, like Cole's like getting off the bus to get on to do Stars Born. It's like
his inauguration song.
And they're like, you know what I'm saying? Guru was like, yo, you was like this close to getting on that. It could have been you on that joint. But yeah, wow. Cole was the last day of tour. I got back on Jay's good side by this point. But last day of tour, I think we go to like Jay's suite or something. Everybody's up there, like whatever. Like all I remember, it's fuzzy. It was a while ago. All I remember we had to leave. It was me, Eve, Cole, maybe Trey, and somebody else. We get down by the bus, and all I remember is Cole going at it with the tour manager.
Oh, okay.
Bro, I never to this day like I've never seen him that mad. Like he was really mad, and I'm like, bro. And he's like so zenned out now. Yeah. I'm like, I never forget that, man.
Do you remember what even caused it?
It might have been like, yo, why did you try to go to Jay's suite or something like that? Or why are you rushing us back? It was something like that. All I know is I was just in shock. Like this guy, like he's always telling me I'm crazy. I'm like, you crazy?
Have you even ever seen him that temperament since then?
No, like, never, bro. Never.
Do you remember what you said to Jay that pissed him off?
I was just really like upset about something.
Okay.
That happened.
That you voiced.
Yeah, but we back. He gave me a hug at the tour. We all good.
Well, the Wale J. Cole documentary, if anyone's watched,
please, because he ain't smoke as much as I did in the past 15 years, so he probably gonna remind you of everything.
He probably pops in when he's meditating and shit.
Actually, I want Ebe to retell that same story because I know he definitely remembers.
Yeah, Ebe is like, I feel like the dot connector where he's like in the back and he remembers everything. But he also mentioned in that interview that he was actually supposed to be on Stars Born before J. Cole, and he was this close to being on that song. So he almost was witnessing the future that he could have had. And I think in a lot of ways, he saw J. Cole's career as something that could have been his had he not necessarily been the guinea pig with the label situation that didn't go that well, the Lady Gaga single. There's a lot to do with Wale. Let me know if you want a separate video on Wale or Big Sean or Meek Mill or any of the other blog era rappers, or maybe a combination. That could be a series in itself after we finish this one. The two were spotted hanging out at a college basketball game later that night, so it doesn't seem like there was any bad blood, and the two did remain friends throughout the time. But back to Cole. On the third verse, he talks to himself and seems to realize why he does this and what his purpose is. A few days later, he followed this up by dropping another surprise album, which was more purposeful than ever. It was called For Your Eyes Only, and the promotion was only an iTunes link plus those two songs that weren't even on the album. Plus, he had an accompanying documentary. The album was his most concise project, yet sitting in at only 10 songs. And at this point, J. Cole going platinum with no features was a meme in itself, and he was about to do it again. But this album was much different than his past work. Cole was known for speaking about his journey to success, his own personal experiences, his mindset, where he was at in life. But this album had nothing to do with J. Cole, at least not him directly. In fact, it wasn't even from J. Cole's perspective. Cole rapped the entire album from the POV of his friend who tragically passed away. He talked about the struggles of making it out of your environment with your dreams, but ultimately not being able to escape your circumstances. And despite the lack of radio singles or traditional promotion, For Your Eyes Only debuted at #1 on the Billboard 200, moving 492,000 equivalent units in its first week. This was the third largest debut of the year, proving that Cole's fan base was large enough to push him into a new category. And even with his most artistic and non-commercial first work, Cole's fan base was there to support him. This put him into a very small category of rappers in terms of mainstream commercial success, especially with no single to back it. Although Deja Vu and Neighbors became singles after the album, there was nothing to lead up to this project besides Cole's announcement. Neighbors was based on a true story where his house was actually raided, and there's real footage to back it because his neighbors did think that he was selling dope, and Cole flips that by saying, actually, I am selling dope in terms of his product that he's moving, which is the music, which is dope. And the cool thing about that song is it actually flips Forbidden Fruit, which is him and Kendrick off of Born Sinner. And he showed this at his concerts later on, which was a cool hidden Easter egg for Cole fans.
Don't sit last. Don't sit last. And you know that. But what you didn't know, Philly, listen. Listen. Couple people get it.
But the most powerful song on the album was the title track and the outro called For Your Eyes Only. It reveals the story of a man who tragically died too soon and was leaving this as a voicemail for his daughter to be listened to after his death. It's a heartbreaking conclusion that reframes the preceding tracks as a plea for understanding rather than a glorification of street life, and it's one of the most unique projects ever. You can tell that Cole really felt called to make this, and that really wasn't any other motivation for him besides actually leaving this as a note for his friend's daughter for when she grows up and really can understand properly what her father might have been going through. Speaking of daughters, one of the most powerful songs on that album is called She's Mine Part 2, where Cole is singing to James's daughter, which gives him a reason to live. But She's Mine Part 1 is also an emotional song about love and finding your person in this life. The song acts as a dual meaning because in the story, Cole's friend finds love and it changes and shapes who he is. But around that time, Cole had actually gotten married and locked in for life with his longtime girlfriend. But Cole didn't let the world know about that until Ryan Coogler accidentally spilled the beans. Yes, Ryan Coogler, the director of Sinners, did an interview with J. Cole at that time and accidentally revealed to the world.
Point is that just to let you know, like, I think you're doing something that I don't think has been done before, like, and not in my generation. and you it's a level of authenticity, bro. When I hear you talk, I'm like, I know this dude. They letting this dude make what's got like.
I wonder the same thing,
you
bro.
You don't even gotta fake it. So, bro, I'm proud of you, and like
likewise, bro. It's us, bro.
That's crazy, bro. You killing it.
You good? Can you do one more question for you?
Bro, I can do as many questions as you want.
How they getting married change you, bro?
Oh, what is that, G, my man?
I told you I never interviewed somebody before. Is that off limits?
Yeah, that was like.
Oh, my bad, bro.
That was like. There was like one thing to not do. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. Nah, it's all good. It's all good.
Nobody know.
Well, they know now.
Oh.
That was cool though. That's like a black history moment. They're never gonna forget that.
I honestly didn't know how to feel about For Your Eyes Only at first. I didn't love the album, but then when I heard She's Mine Part 2, and then I heard the outro, I think For Your Eyes Only is one of the best storytelling songs of all time, and I actually have a lot more appreciation for the album now than I first did when it came out. But let me know what you guys thought of the project when it dropped and how it's aged for you over time. But I think one thing is clear, that J. Cole was his most confident yet. He cared the least about what other people thought of him. He cared the least about what the industry thought of him than he had at any point in his career, and he really was on a mission for his purpose and to make art that aligned with where he wanted to take his words. And it's clear that his faith was guiding a lot of his bars.
Like I said, I'd come off those 2 mixtapes, and it was about being in the club. It was about having the hottest joints, and this was more like, what is a cohesive, incredible listening experience from me? What can I do for this generation to just create distance between myself and anyone else, and do something that maybe no one else can really achieve or accomplish? I think I used my writing and my voice in ways that I'm really proud of the songwriting on here.
Views already a classic. Now, Views did not receive the critical acclaim that If You're Reading This or Nothing Was the Same or even Take Care had received. It was very mixed reviews. A lot of people thought it was too bloated. A lot of people thought it was too pop heavy. But everyone did agree that there were amazing highs on the album. And no matter what the critical reception was, the commercial success put Drake in another category after this album. The album sold 1 million copies in the US in its first week, making it Drake's biggest release yet, and the first out of the big 3 to achieve this feat. Hotline Bling's success helped this number, but no matter how you look at it, this was massive. This put Drake in a category by himself as a rapper alongside Beyonce and Adele. He was officially a pop star and one of the biggest in the world. Drake's relationship with Rihanna was also more public than ever at this time, and the two had connected for Work, where they were dancing in the video, of course, and that became a #1 hit, and Too Good on the album. That's apparently how they reconnected, was over the music. But from there were things like Drake buying Rihanna a billboard, and then him giving this very public speech praising her while presenting her with her MTV Video Vanguard Legendary Award.
She's someone I've been in love with since I was 22 years old. All my adult life, I've looked up to her even though she's younger than me. She's a living, breathing legend in our industry. Ladies and gentlemen, the recipient of the Michael Jackson Vanguard Award for 2016, Rihanna.
But they weren't really spotted publicly much after that night. And a couple years later, she said, "Waiting through that speech was probably the most uncomfortable part. I don't like too many compliments. I don't like to be put on blast." So that clearly might have been too much for her, and maybe she felt like she wanted to be more low key, because after that she was in a relationship with someone who actually wasn't a public figure at all. He was like a billionaire prince or something like that. And this was a couple years later. She said, "We don't have a friendship now, but we're not enemies either. It is what it is." After the reception of Views and people saying that it was very pop, Drake decided to go right back to the bars and dropped a Lucy called 4 p.m. in Calabasas, following his classic timestamp formula. This premiered on OVO Sound Radio, but Drake's beefs were far from done for the year, like I said. On this song, he threw shots in reference to his fight with Diddy, saying, "The higher I get, the less they accept me. Even had the OGs trying to press me, ha ha ha." Even interpolating Diddy on that song. "Don't push me, I'm way too uneasy nowadays. These guys move so greasy nowadays. I tell you my life and y'all don't believe me when I say it." He even references taking Kendrick and ASAP on tour at that point, which felt again like an attempt to maybe Lil Bro them and say that he's in this successful category. Look how long I've had success for. And yeah, I took these guys on tour because I thought it was a good look for the culture. But the biggest shots appear to be taken at Joe Budden on this song. Y'all don't hear no songs. They hit my phone like, you did that. They even hit my line like, where you been at? It's always on some shit like, when can I get a favor, or where my bitch at? Like, I'm about to tell you where she been at. Costa Correa's, I got her kidnapped. She ain't sorry and I ain't sorry. It's too late for sorry. Green, white, and red on my body because I'm dipped in Ferrari. All she want to do is get high and listen to party. Now, Drake was spotted on vacation with Joe Budden's ex, Tahiri, who confirmed that they did in fact have a fling at one point. This could have been a triple entendre of stealing your girl. Justin Bieber had a song called Sorry. Again, that's how we pronounce it in Canada. I'm not sorry about that. That Justin song was a smash, but it may not have been the only smash, because Drake may have been hitting up Bieber's ex, Hailey Baldwin, at the time after they were spotted with matching necklaces. And then Beyonce's song Sorry had Serena Williams in the video mouthing the words I'm sorry, so this could have also been a slight shot at her too. There's also the idea that maybe this was a shot at Meek because there's some women that could be in common there. But to me, this was the biggest shot at Joe Budden. And Drake seems to be contemplating whether or not it's even worth his while engaging with Joe Budden in any sort of rap back and forth, because he says, I got a lot to lose because in every situation I'm the bigger artist, always got to play it smarter. It's crazy because Joe predicted back in our first episode in 2009 that one day Drake would get in a rap battle, and he did say that maybe it would have something to do with a woman. And in that video, Drake asks Joe how Tahiri is doing, which is a crazy video and aged in such a wild way. Check this out.
Yeah, I can't support Joe.
Thank you very much. Now, you asked me how Tahiri was feeling.
Yep, I did.
I need to ask you how you feeling.
I feel humble, man. Definitely. It's
listen, listen. Don't political. Don't.
I'm giving you the not right.
Okay. Okay.
I'm giving you the not right real shit. You know?
Okay.
I definitely never thought, that it would go this far.
So when do you see your first disc coming?
Hopefully, like back to school times, like early fall.
All right. No, you think I said disc?
Disc.
Yeah. When do you? I heard the line you diss me. Not gonna reply.
I'm a nice guy.
Now somebody's gonna send a shot.
I'm
at
not like you, man. No.
I'm a nice guy.
You are a nice guy.
I'm nice.
But you're just too witty for your own good.
I be beefing with loser niggas. I be beefing with loser sensitive niggas.
I don't see it.
And it's my job as a rapper to let niggas know that they can't.
If I get this, it's gonna be a female trying to get at me. I bet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know.
See, it's different with you.
Have it out for me.
Why?
No.
Oh, no. Somebody is
I'm not gonna diss me. You'll never hear a reply from
We heard the line. That was just a line. Somebody gonna say some shit.
Yeah.
And you gonna feel some type of way, and the MC
I'll be honest,
in you.
Man, this new generation. I'm praying that we just all manage to coexist, man. Everything's good. We're all doing our own thing and have our own lanes. Everything's lovely.
All right, I pray for that too.
So do I.
Realistically, with the more let's see, notoriety.
Yeah.
That you get, it's gonna be a nigga.
Yeah.
And he's gonna send a shot.
Yeah.
So because you be doing the singing shit, you be doing the rapping shit. I just wanna, is the rapper in you going to say, you know what? Fuck it, just one time.
It depends on if it's good. If it's
You already been in the beef though. You've been in some Toronto local beef.
Yeah.
I'm aware of that. You sent a shot my way too. I heard it, but it was all right.
No, I didn't.
No, it was a little shot. It was a little shot, but it was okay. I didn't mind it.
Oh,
I didn't mind it. But Joe Budden TV, all right, you heard it first. The nigga's not gonna diss anybody.
Nobody, man.
No matter what you say about the nigga.
Joe just probably didn't know at the time, though, that the beef he was asking Drake about would be him. It's crazy what we think about Joe Budden now as a podcaster, but he had his first ever viral podcasting moment this year when he reacted to Drake's views, and in an unfiltered reaction, he had this to say.
I think that kid on that album that I heard sounds real fucking uninspired. That's what I think. I think that music is real good. You can't fool a real nigga. You can fool them. You can fool the people that are not paying attention. That music sounds good and I enjoy it. I played that album all the way to DC and all the way back. Multiple times. 40, you sound amazing. 40 continues to progress. Drake, you do not. I said the other day on this podcast, I miss the Drake that starts the waves not hops on other waves. And I'll say it again. I miss Drake that pushes the fucking agenda, not let the agenda push him. And that is why I will. Big difference between a Drake and a Hove while they both at the top.
Joe even did say this about 4 p.m. in Calabasas. He said, he snapped just now, even if he dissed me and Puff the whole time, he ain't sound that inspired in a minute. Then there was this snippet of a song posted by French Montana onto Snapchat where Drake appeared to be taking shots at Joe. He said, pump, pump, pump it up. She got a good head on her, so I pump it up. Of course, Joe's biggest rap hit ever is Pump It Up. Great song, though. Rumors were swirling that this was going to be an actual diss track towards Joe, and instead of waiting for this to drop, Joe dropped his diss track first. On the song Making a Murderer Part 1, he said, all of this just because I wasn't in love with his views. Whatever happened, I just know they got me effing confused. He even sampled that original video where him and Drake were talking about beef together, and Drake was clearly bigging Joe up and saying how much of an inspiration he was. You made me proud, lad, but it seems my child mad. With all the clout that he grabbed, it still doubts from his dad. Look, this ain't promotional, you just emotional. No doubt you got Starbucks with all that Joe in you. You can say whatever you want about Joe Budden, but you could never claim that he is not a top-tier lyricist. What he don't know is we the most kindred of souls. I should have did this 2 Kendricks ago, which is crazy that even at that point, Joe was referencing the subliminal beef between Kendrick and Drake, and basically all the rappers knew that this was bubbling and ready to go. Cause your words ain't saying a thing. I kilogram without weighing a thing, which is a crazy kilogram. Aubrey Drake Graham. Kilogram, I murdered, come on. He said, that's thinking back to Jay, now let's get back to Drake. Both too big to respond to all I have to say. Still, with all their success and all their accolades, the universe makes it so they come right back to me. He's referencing how him and Jay had a little subliminal back and forth and he didn't really go fully at Joe. And he's also claiming the same thing is going to happen with Drake, which Drake referenced on 4 p.m. saying basically, I'm the bigger artist. I have too much to lose. I might not engage here. So Aubrey, when you sub real MCs, you get murdered. And since you signed to 5 Guys makes you a burger. Crazy 5 Guys reference, but also Pusha T kind of had this same narrative where you're a guy who signed to a guy who signed to another guy, Birdman, Wayne, Cash Money, Universal, Lucian Grains. There's a lot of people who were getting money from Drake at that time. He also says he doesn't understand how Drake is mad at him for having a little bit of a critique of his album, or a very loud critique of his album, when Joe should be the one who is upset with him for having a relationship with his former woman. He said, real quick, I don't want to talk too long. I think you misconstrued the boundaries of this relationship and this friendship, which in return has caused me to do the exact same thing. I don't understand how you dudes, and how you in particular, how you can F shorty and I dap you and say you real, and I critique your album and all of a sudden we sensitive. I don't understand how you guys work. Maybe I'm out of touch with the rules of today's society. I'm clearing all that. Now let me paint who I am before I allow another dude to do it for me. That he the best MC and best flower, he cook better than me, but you love my leftovers. Then Joe took a page from Drake's book and went back to back on him with Wake. He mentions Drake's slight back and forth with Pusha T on this song, saying, so I take the guns, load half the clips. I just notice you run, we mention half the clips. Of course, Pusha T being one half of the clips. Say Canadian, maybe Asian, Croatian, be sounding like his Jamaican friends, depend on what state he in. I think you rap good, but you a movie star, so that owl's appropriate. We don't know who you are. Owls and who. It's a good bar. Where did the boys' brain change? Was it the club scene? Now you sound like you use people and love things, which is a flip on Drake's bar from Nothing Was the Same on Connect. The entendres that upswing when I call you drug king, that record contract leaves a lot to exam. Never dealt drugs in his life, but sold a lot of gram. As in he sold himself out for the money. You leverage your celeb taking waves over. That's territorial takeover. Maybe he thinks nobody notices. Gucci wasn't home 2 seconds before you wrote his D. Bodied Versace's flow. Copy that he stole. A Dios mío, sorry migos, adios amigo. Was that your plot all along? Why you ain't did that vid with Fetty, but you hopped on the song. He's referencing the Fetty Wap remix that he did, which is amazing. And I actually would have liked to see a video for that too. So who knows what happened there. And shout out to Fetty Wap. He is now home. No, really, we want a party album, but you keep stealing all of Party's album to go and put it on your party album. It's plenty reason to slay you. Kept going up on Tuesdays, and now the Weeknd just hates you. Are you lifeless? Sound like a zombie on the track. Remember, started from the bottom. It was zombie on the track. Know who else started from the bottom? Zombie on the track. How come after that joint, I don't see Zombie on the track? I'm from Jersey, so Zombie, I got your back. Now, there was a lot said there. Again, these are narratives that kind of Joe was the first to put out there as a rapper, and they definitely got used within the Pusha and Kendrick battles later on. But he claims that Drake was a wave stealer, that he would hop on people's songs, use their energy, use their sauce, use their flows, use their style, and then discard of them. He referenced Migos here with Versace. He referenced Gucci, who he had a song with right after Gucci got home. He referenced McConan with Tuesday, The Weeknd, Fetty Wap, and Party Next Door, who had a lot of reference tracks for Drake and claimed that he was stealing all of his music to use it for himself. And then Zombie on the track, who produced Started from the Bottom, but we didn't see them work together after that on, I don't think, any songs. I'm not sure if he even had another Drake credit after that. So Joe's basically saying you use people, take what you need from them, and then discard of them. He also dropped another song called Afraid, where he samples Drake's Fear song from 2009 and says, wish we could go back and grab the Blackberry with the scroll. Oh, yeah, Aubrey's the one we trusted, not this new Aubrey with his stomach sculpted. Now, this was the first time anyone had heard anything about Drake having plastic surgery, but Joe did double down on this bar, tweeting that Drake had gotten liposuction twice from the plastic surgeon, Dr. Michael Miami Salzer. This would be a bar that was hinted at again by Pusha T when he claimed that it was going to be a surgical summer, that they're going to peel back layer by layer. I took that as him going further into this plastic surgery, but he never got to part 2 because Drake bowed out of that battle after Story of Added On. But Kendrick, of course, did take it there during his battle where he says, V12, that's a fast one, tell him where you get your abs from. Joe said, this shit is greater than me, Pitchfork and Fader agree, Complex, I'm waiting to see this between us, A and a B, basically saying that it's not just him who had this reaction to Views. There was a lot of mixed and very critical reaction to his album. So why are you that mad at Joe? And finally, he said, get some advice. Come over, kick it and vibe. I'm here with hotel strippers, Odell, all that shit that you like. We'll light some candles and some hookah. Hookers flicking the lights. We'll play Aaliyah's greatest hits. You'll get all tickled inside, which is crazy to say in a rap battle. It's no wonder you're losing all your friends. Poster child now for all that you had a wall against. And when his team press up shirts, I'll help him push a T. Should it read he pressed buttons, but wouldn't push a T. Again, another reference to Pusha T. So these Pusha T and Kendrick battles were kind of brewing under the surface, and everyone felt that they were going to be there, but they weren't there yet. I remember writing an article for Respect magazine back in this time, and I said, here are 5 beefs that are more interesting than Meek Mill and Drake, and I had listed him and Joe Budden, him and Pusha T, him and Kendrick Lamar. I don't even remember who the other 2 were, but it's funny because those were definitely my top 3. Then Drake finally dropped No Shopping with French Montana, the song that was teased earlier with the Joe diss. He went back to his formula of making a diss song into a hit song, and it felt like this song was done and was probably already finished with maybe just that as a Joe sub or a couple other bars, but he extended it after hearing Joe's few diss tracks, and he's like, let me give a few more bars in the format of this hit song, because it did feel like a very extended verse for what the song was at first. But his whole verse became a diss towards Joe. Pump, pump, pump it up. She got a good head on her, but I pump it up. I'm not a one-hit wonder. They know all my stuff. You let me turn into the dude that you almost was. This was, of course, a reference to Joe only having one major hit with Pump It Up and saying, yes, I was inspired by you, but I became the potential that you had. I turned into that guy. I'm on Bloor where you can't shop. Bitch, I just rapped and it went pop. Again, this is another reference to people who said his album was too pop, including Joe, and he's just saying, I was rapping, I became a pop star, but I did it through rapping. Next move better than my last move. Your next move can't erase your past moves. Took her out once she got attached to him. Ring, ring, I'll get back to him. You don't really want the views. You don't want a snapshot of things going on with the crew. You don't want to hear Not Nice did 13 and did another 2 for some other shit he didn't do. Last week, Boy, I'm running in the room. This week sold 1.2. Of course, he sold 1.2 with views, and now he's referencing the people in his crew and the things that they have done. Baka, who did do Time and was referenced for having a weird case in Kendrick's beef, he's basically saying, like, I got people around me that are willing to go the distance for me. Drake does mention Joe by name on stage and says,
we got that good energy going on. I should have brought Joe Budden up here and let him do Pump It Up one time tonight. Pump it up. Fuck with
Then Joe dropped a song called Just Because, where he tells Drake to drop a direct diss and stop with all of the subs. He said on the intro, I have a confession to make. Just because I love you, man. Just because sometimes love hurts. Just because it's going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt you, though. I love you. And then he makes a Batman reference to Bane, which one of my favorite movies of all time, The Dark Knight Rises. They play at stadiums. I play at stadium. Shaming him. Really, what's there to gain for him? I see it weird, though. F it, we hear, though. Order my Bane mask, all glass, to let the beard show. Ain't been dark in a while, part of my style. I mean, I hear my part in your style. I can attach different acts to different parts of your style. Yeah, we let you act as if you had parts in your style. Nah. Of course, the scene where Bane was in the stadium and ended up blowing up the field. You busy ruffling feathers, bound to happen when you target an owl. Now we not enemies. We just got a bar up now. I'm still on energy. Let's see if he charged up now. And I'll be sure he's in the secret garden I found with lions, tigers, bears, Tahiri, dolphins. Wow. Again, this is a reference to If You're Reading This Is Too Late, where Drake talks about lions, tigers, and bears. But Tahiri and dolphins references that picture with Drake swimming with dolphins with his ex Tahiri. Wow is right. But also around this time, Drake fans appeared to have run up on Joe at his house while he's in a wife beater, and they were trying to take pictures and agitate him, and I think they were yelling things at him, and they created this absolutely classic meme of Joe running after them with rocks, which still gets referenced today every once in a while.
It's Joe Budden. Joe Budden.
Yo, back up.
Back up.
Yo, don't. I'm trying to make.
Sir, yo. Sir, that wasn't me.
Yo, back up.
That wasn't me. I'm
back
sorry.
up.
Block again.
Chill.
Sir, I'm sorry for them. I'm sorry.
Oh.
I'm sorry. You got. That wasn't me. I wasn't. Okay, I'm sorry.
Keep seeing you tweet.
Drake didn't really seem to respond from there, but there was, of course, subliminals thrown here and there towards Joe. But we aren't done with beefs for the year just yet, because right before the end of the year, on October 29th, Drake drops 3 songs, Fake Love, Sneak It with 21 Savage, and alongside it, he dropped a song called Two Birds, One Stone. And on that song, the 2 birds he was talking about were Kid Cudi and Pusha T. After Joe Budden called him out for ducking the fade with Pusha T over and over again, Drake decided it was time to reply for real. The two had been trading some subliminal shots over the course of the last few years, and Pusha was inheriting some beef from Pharrell with Lil Wayne, and in this case, Drake was inheriting Lil Wayne's beef, and so it's this kind of battle of the proteges for the mentors. But during the last year, of course, Meek Mill was Drake's main focus, so now it feels like he had some time to think about it, what he wanted to do next. He dealt with Joe to some degree, even though I do think Joe's tracks were pretty scathing, and I do think they set up what Pusha T was about to do next. But I think Drake thought Push was a worthy opponent for him to spend some time on. I don't know if he thought that this song would clear Pusha out of the way or anything. I do think he felt like that with Kid Cudi, but I do think he thought that it was a very strong approach to Pusha and would force Pusha to reply. So he must have been thinking about what would come next. Now, Pusha would be plotting, and this will take us a couple years from now for it to actually come to a head. But here's what happened on this song. So in my opinion, these are some of Drake's best subliminal shots towards Pusha in this entire back and forth, poking holes in his drug dealing persona. He says, but really it's you with all the drug dealer story that's got to stop though. You made a couple chops and now you think you chopo. If you ask me though, you ain't lying in the trunk with kilos. You bagging weed, watching Pacino with all your dudes like this is what we need to be on, but you never went live. You middleman in this shit, boy, you was never them guys. I can tell cause I look most of you dead in your eyes and you'll be trying to sell the story for the rest of your lives. Can't show us where the cash is. Me, I don't judge. I'm just going off what the math is, numbers inflated. And I do think it's what caused Pusha to say ghostwriting aside, drug dealing aside, because he knew he couldn't necessarily win this battle of how real am I. He also replies to Joe a little bit here and says, they all look at me like, what have you done for me lately? I like your older shit, but wasn't in love with the latest. Aw, baby, stop debating. I'm just a creative. Referencing the way that Joe talked on the podcast about views and referencing Joe's tone there with the ah, baby. But then he takes aim at Kid Cudi. Cudi had taken some shots at both Drake and Kanye and the ghostwriting allegations towards both of them before checking himself into rehab for his own mental health and depression battles while he was struggling with addiction. His initial tweets read this: everyone thinks they're so great, talking top 5 and be having 30 people write songs for them. The fake ones won't be lasting too much longer. My tweets apply to who they apply. Ye, Drake, whoever. These people don't give an F about me and they ain't effing with me. People were actually debating whether or not Drake's replies went too far because he took shots at Cudi's mental health during a time that Cudi was clearly struggling with those battles and was checked into rehab during the time that this song dropped. Drake rapped this: my numbers out of this world, no wonder they got me feeling so alienated. You were the man on the moon, now you just go through your phases. Life of the angry and famous. Rap like I know I'm the greatest, then give you tropical flavors. Still never been on hiatus. You stay zanned and perked up, so when reality set in, you don't gotta face it. I'm down 200 in Vegas, but winning life on a daily basis. It seems like nobody wants to stay in my good graces. I'm like a real estate agent, putting you all in your places. Look what happens soon as you talk to me crazy. Is you crazy? Now, that last bar is what got a lot of people because he was talking about the drug addiction that Cudi clearly had, and he's asking, are you crazy? On that song where Wale was responding to Cole, Cudi actually got some shots from Wale there, so it's clear that some of his relationships were being strained, and he definitely needed to go take some time for himself. But I was lucky enough to see Cudi at his first show out of rehab at Complex Con that year, and it was legendary, and he did decide to take the high road. He didn't throw shots back on any songs. He just focused on the music. But that's it for 2016. In 2017, things continue to heat up, and I actually think we get to the closest point to really seeing a Kendrick and Drake battle before 2024 in 2017. There's Kendrick and Big Sean's back and forth, or slight back and forth. Kendrick drops Damn, Drake drops More Life, J. Cole drops KOD, and finally discusses openly what meditation did for his life. It is a great year. 2017 is going to be an amazing episode, and you don't want to miss it. So in order not to miss it, be sure to hit the subscribe button, turn your notifications on, hit the like button if you made it this far, and comment what your favorite part of the year was. And it really helps if you can share this with a friend who likes any of these artists or who is just a big fan of hip hop. I really appreciate the support on this. We are almost at 25,000 subscribers. We might be there by the time you're watching this, so thank you guys so much. This is an amazing community of people who clearly take this seriously, who love music, who love lyrics, who love hip hop. So thank you guys for joining me on this journey, and I'll see you in the next episode. Dream good, live better. If nobody else has told you yet today, I appreciate you. Peace.